thumbs up. So you can either go to youtube.com/BrandonIvy and find the live stream, share the link there, or if you go to stormchasingtour.com, it's on the web page under the live streaming tab, and then there should be a link there. If you got any family or friends, just hit the share button or copy and paste that code, and you can text messaging, and it's up and running.
We'll get it. I think it's about an hour, just under an hour from the highway.
The Tornadic portion is like 55 miles southwest of the highway.
It's moving at 50 is what their latest warning was. I don't know what the storm track says.
So it'll be an hour every time.
We're 44 minutes from downtown Columbia. 47 miles from the exit to go.
West of Columbia, sometimes traffic can be a little
it's so
sketchy
bad.
because they got that construction still there. But hopefully, with it being Sunday, we can kind of cruise through pretty quick.
I think if I remember correctly, most of the construction's just on the bridge over the Missouri.
On the bridge on the Missouri side.
It was over the Missouri River.
You said you just
We're making okay time for now. I say as we enter construction zone. There's two exits that we can play this thing from. One of them is just after Columbia, just east of Columbia, and another is the one that goes up to Mexico.
Yeah, I think probably that road that goes up to Columbia would be a little bit better.
The one that goes up to Centralia. I guess there's kind of two that go up to Central. Chasers who are able, right now they're keeping up with that thing, even back in the mountains on the windy roads.
I'm surprised that they're keeping up with it.
I know. It must not be moving that quick.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, sometimes they have the warnings on there.
Yeah. Educated guesses. Okay, there's the extension. Radar indicated. Now it's in St. Louis's CWA. They have it moving northeast at 35.
We'll be able to catch that easily.
We'll be able to core punch that rather than hook slice.
Velocity still about the same when they supposedly produced that tornado.
Yeah, looks a little better than, or from St. Louis's radar.
down the radar indicator. Save.
I mean, if this thing is as mini as it seems, though, we can just follow it. You should have good visibility.
Somebody just said hello.
velocity's getting a little bit better there, at least a little broader inbound.
Yep.
On that southeast flank. As long as it lifts with the northbound, it should be cyclical, I think.
Yeah. It's in about the best environment you can ask for. There's no storms interacting with it.
Crazy, that tornado occurred probably at 12:30.
I think it was
15 minutes ago, or was it earlier?
It was like an hour ago now.
Oh, an hour ago.
It was 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So that shows a while. So it happened before noon.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what you get.
Yep.
But I mean, this is best case scenario, right? We said discrete cell ahead of all the junk behind it.
Yeah, just get it to cycle at the right time.
Yep. You can drive at it aggressively from the south as it tries to outrun us. Although, if it's moving 35,
yeah, that's pretty slow.
we could probably get closer and get ahead of it, maybe.
Did everybody find the link to the live stream that
Yes,
walked in?
thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Everybody doing good back there?
Closing the gap as good as we can.
Yeah, I mean, we ought to be on it like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
An hour at the latest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're 36 miles, so under half an hour. These cars keep going at good speed from Columbia. It's not going to go that far east of Columbia. At 10 miles, 15 miles. It's still looking solid from St. Louis's radar. Even maybe tighter coupling.
Yeah, I was gonna pop on and look at some of the meso analysis stuff. I know you looked at it, but it's been about an hour ago.
Yeah, it's been a little.
Updated meso analysis stuff, so nothing's really changed.
The only thing I'd be concerned about is if this thing outruns the warm front it's attached to. It's not through Columbia yet. Columbia is still 63/59.
Yeah,
But I don't know how updated that is.
As fast as it looked like on the models that it was lifted north, you think the storm would be, if it's truly moving 35, maybe it's latched onto that boundary that's helped it slow down, and maybe it'll just slip north with the rest of the boundary.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain. That's for sure.
Some of the surface vorticity is better back to the northwest with that low, but this one, probably around the time it produced, it went through an area like 4 to 5 when the surface vorticities are drawing 3 kilometer cape, so it's kind of overlapped right there where it produced that tornado, so that makes sense. Mixed level cape, or mean level, only about 500 joules right now. Having good low level lapse rates, but Sigtor on the effective layer is like 1 right there, but it drag bullseye on that storm.
It said go there.
That lifts north. So I'll expand that a couple hours. It looks like it stays at a 1. Got 2 discrete cells there on the west side of that gradient there.
That'd be nice.
That one, another one from the southwest. And in 4 hours, stuff lines out. Still got a discrete cell up here around 70. That's that second one that comes out.
Yeah.
Tor parameter gets better down there, but by that time everything's lined out, so other than some QLCS spin-ups, I don't know if that'll be realized, without those isolated cells down there. So that should be pretty good. Everything's looking good environment, nice isolated cell. Looks like it's heading right up towards Kingdom City on the storm track.
Yeah. It's somewhere between there and Columbia for sure.
Plotted out, it shows that getting up to just southwest of Kingston City at 142, so that's almost an hour away. It still won't be up to Interstate 70 if that storm track's accurate, so
yeah.
Should get there. Let's see.
Starting route to 3000.
Plot it in and see how long. So yeah. Still seeing radar indicated. Times out of St. Louis, they're up to about 34,000 feet, so it's come up a little bit. Yeah, still low top. Yeah. 33, 34,000 feet. It was hanging around 30, 31. Maybe getting ready to produce another one. Those tops going up.
Yeah. This little core real quick.
Yeah, that's a core punch. Yeah, core punch the little core.
Oh yeah.
It'd be funny if one of these little things pops out, because it's hard to really see any velocity on like some of these smaller things, but they both all got little inbounds and outbounds. That's what's makes sense. Like super low. coat of Rain-X on the windshield.
There,
Or maybe if we have time to stop later, I got some of them in the door with the cloth. I put some on the other day, but with all that rain we've been getting in Wichita, I think it's kind of drifted it off. But that definitely helps a lot. There's times you got a fresh coat of Rain-X on there and you don't even have to run the windshield wipers if you're on highway speeds. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's awesome.
Some of these facing the east storms, they're low, super low top, so.
And especially here, you know, where it's 63 over 61. Yeah, your LCLs are on the floor.
It's not going to take much if we're on the 150 or something. Come out. See that updraft down there to this one.
Yeah.
It's a low storm. That's the rain-free base on this other storm that's developing. These are pretty low top right now. But it probably won't do much. That main storm's up to our east. We'll be on in about 45 minutes. But we can always backtrack west to some of these other storms later on this day. So right now, the tornado warning storms are target storms. But yeah, these have just started forming up. So just kind of looking at the rain-free base. Like if these storms were a little bit taller, that's the area you'd want to look down to the south there for any like tornado development. Yeah. Yeah. What's that? We can probably stop quick, but we're pretty pressed for time right now. So let us. Is it immediate, like emergency? Okay. Yeah, we're going to try to do, once we get into position out ahead of the storm, we'll try to make a quick stop for everybody. Okay. We don't want you to do that. We don't want you to do that unless necessarily possible. But yeah. So right now we're just trying to make some ground so we can line up the storm. If everybody's good to wait about 45 minutes, we'll try to make a quick restroom break, but it'll be a quick in and out type thing. Like, the quicker we can get in and out, the better, because the storms aren't going to wait for us, So.
I swear, we can't stop.
Oh, the sisters are going to be fighting in the van. You were talking about that last night already. Don't want any of that. But yeah, I could probably use a quick one myself too. So, and we try to get, one last good restroom break in before we really get into the action. Today we had about a 5-hour drive, stuff initiated early. Storms are moving pretty quick today, so we're just trying to be a little bit more aggressive than we typically are. Usually days like today, we have a nice slid down lunch, we can stop plenty of times, we get to the target area early. Usually we're out there getting a suntan, where we're waiting on storms to blow up, but today is just a little bit different. Tomorrow being kind of a travel day back, it'll be a lot more relaxed and stuff. And things like that, so we'll stop a lot more frequently. It's just we don't want to get there a little too late and miss the tornado if it does develop another one as it crosses the interstate up here. But if it becomes an emergency, just holler at me and we'll make it happen.
Do you get a live chat on OBS?
Yeah, you can, but I don't even really get into it. I mean, if you're over here and you want to get into the live chat, you can, but
fair.
Sometimes it's enough babysitting a live stream.
Yeah.
That, just getting things set up. I like to set it and forget it.
Yeah.
And if it has any issues or crashes in the middle of a chase, I'm not going to mess with it. I don't like getting in there and doing the chat stuff because I don't have time for that.
Yeah,
back when me and Matt started streaming together back in 2008, 2009 on Ustream, we'd usually be in the chat when we're out traveling. But back then, you could, since it wasn't YouTube, we'd play music and stuff like that on there. Not worried, but we weren't monetizing it either. We were just doing it for the fun, and we'd get in there, kind of chat and stuff. And I know that kind of helps build, more of an audience, but. I got too much going on to really sit there and mess with the chat, so everybody else can chat in there. But I'd like to find the moderator, just to maybe get in there and run it and make sure everybody's behaving and not being rude, because I don't like people getting in there and making rude comments or picking on somebody else or like that. So outside of that, I just kind of set it and forget it type of thing.
For sure.
But it's cool because any of them that have friends or family back home that want to kind of see what they're out there doing, they can log on and kind of ride along if you want to get kind of a POV. Like I don't mess around too much with. Like I'll try to point the van if I can when we stop towards the storm, but if it's a narrow road or we don't have it, you know, I'm not going to worry about it. The tornado can cross behind us, you know, and not be on the live stream because I'm not really too worried about that. It's more for, you know, them and any of my friends and family that come that want to watch them. So I like doing more of the set it and forget it type thing than trying to babysit it all the time and things like that. I know that's not how you really build it as well, but that is what it is. So
I mean, it's energy level. Well, and the streamers who just like, you know, they can read chat, they can moderate their stuff, they can answer questions and chase and get video. It's like,
yeah, I don't know how they do it. It's like multitasking at its finest. I can multitask a little bit, but I can't do that much.
yeah, I would worry about my driving. That's
Yeah.
where
Oh, and they're probably chasing solo too, huh?
a lot of them, yeah. I mean, sometimes they'll have partners, but
Yeah, the only thing with this new WeatherWise app is you gotta have it like open at all times on your phone for the
Oh.
GPS to update.
oh, I see. Okay.
So that's the only downside to it, but I don't want to be on Sputter Network, so I mean the National Weather Service, most of them don't even pay attention to the reports I submit on there anymore anyway, so it's like there's no point in really being on there just to live stream, so
Yeah.
this will allow you to, you know, put the position on the maps, the live stream, they can see where you're at, what storm you're on, but then you're not, you know, broadcasting it, you know, out there to everybody. Here you go through and filter some more of this stuff off. But
This terrain looks actually really good where it's heading. That, you know, Kingdom City, Mexico, Colombia triangle.
yeah, that's a pretty good area to chase in. That Kingdom City area is pretty flat. I did an ice storm a couple of years ago up along I-70 where they had a bunch of semis like jackknife and actually had, I think the eastbound lane shut down for a while to clear some semis off. That's pretty flat through there. Pretty decent chase terrain for Missouri standards.
Right, yeah. I mean, despite living in Missouri, I really rarely chase the state.
Yeah, you always try to get west when you can.
Yeah,
Or do you go more like Illinois?
Illinois has been my sweet spot. I mean, I was there for 2 years, so that made it really easy to chase Illinois.
Yeah, you know a lot of the road networks and stuff through there.
Well, you don't even need to because it's all paved.
Oh yeah,
It's so nice.
That's one thing. Yeah, because I've only chased Illinois a few times, but yeah, even all like these things you think are like county like dirt roads or gravel roads are all paved, and it's like, well, that's probably why fuel's more expensive there because they're paving like every road in the state.
Yeah.
Like they got.
I'm not complaining, and it's flat as a pancake. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you can avoid the few trees that, you know, the river valleys that have the trees.
Yeah,
you
that
can
Lewiston area, dude, that was a little challenging down that river valley
Yeah.
and stuff. There's some areas, but overall, yeah, it seems like it's pretty flat and nice out there. Stuff.
I was gonna ask, are there headlight controls or anything that I need to know?
Yeah, well, they're automatic. If it's on auto, like if it gets dark enough, they'll come out, come on.
Okay, where is that? How do I know?
It's that round dial over on the left there.
Oh, it's this.
Well, no, down on the, further down.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's a headlight control over there. If it's on automatic, it'll automatically come on if it gets too dark. And there's some daytime running lights, and then obviously pull the windshield wiper thing back for brights, and then put some brighter lights on that front light bar. They're over here, but you can like turn those on, like, you know,
Cool.
if we're out on a remote highway at night, it really illuminates and helps us see a lot better at night.
Good, yeah.
I thought for like deer and stuff. The first year I was out on doing tours, I had, I don't know, 3 different occasions where deer ran out in front of the van. I thought, well, that's going to be bad if we plow into deer sometime and bust out the radiator. So I put that grill guard up there. Ever since, I mean, we've seen deer, but I haven't had any more close calls with them. And then I put some extra lights on that grill guard this year just to be able to see better at night if we're out on, you know, the rural highway out in western Kansas and no traffic.
You'll never guess what happened to us on the university chase trip last year.
Hit a turkey, doesn't?
No, hit a deer.
Oh, a deer.
Yeah,
Wow.
small one, but
Yeah.
up in Minnesota. It wasn't even night. It was. We were tracking along. Yeah, storm was pretty much done. It was kind of lining out, and a small deer runs out of the tall grass. You know, it almost feels like they tried to hit you.
Yeah, sometimes we'll just run out and stuff, and usually, like at night, if I see them on the side of the road, I'll just honk the horn so they kind of hear the vehicle better. Sometimes that spooks them off, you know, to get them out of the way. They used to sell those little deer whistles you could put on your car, but I never thought those worked. Those are pretty gimmicky.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'd rather have the light bar to see them than the.
yeah, 'cause, yeah, when you use that, it eliminates pretty far. I mean, the van sits up higher, so the brights do pretty good, but yeah, those lights that I put on there really help at night if you're, you know, out driving around.
For sure, yeah.
But then that's the only bad thing when you got oncoming traffic, you gotta dim the dimmers and then you hit the switch. But I may in the off season have them wire them into the same switch so that when you turn the brights on, it turns on the light bars as well. That'll make it a lot easier. Rotation's weakened a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, look at St. Louis. It had, but that new St. Louis scan is strong.
I mean, I have the.
I'm at 103. There it is. That might do it.
Hopefully it'll wait for us.
Yeah, we got 30 minutes till Kingdom City.
Yeah, looks like it'll be in Kingdom City. Probably going through about 145, so
35,
40 minutes. So we'll get to Kingdom City and then stop at a convenience store for a restroom break. We're gonna head on there.
Yeah, super quick.
Yeah. And then if it doesn't look like it's ready, we're gonna keep a buffer zone, you know, maybe 10, 20 miles north of it so it doesn't get past us. And wait for it to get right. So it wants to plant something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that couple looks pretty good. Nice. Not super strong, but it's nice, tight, and compact. Like wonderful.
If this is scanning pretty high up, you know, that's where it starts.
Yeah. That's true. Let's see what so we're about 8,000 feet from St. Louis, so about a mile and a half. Scan it about a mile and a half. Maybe a mile and 3/4 above the ground on that.
This thing will, we're going to start to get views of it.
We're going to try to stop in Kingdom City in half an hour, or well, we will. Is that too long? Can you wait? Okay.
I just wanted to get it done.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I need to go too. It's nice to kind of have one last restroom break. Yeah, we ought to get there at least 10, 15 minutes before the storm gets up there. And then the rotation's starting to tighten on radar. We're up here. And then here's the kind of the couplet. The green is towards St. Louis radar and the red's away. So if we zoom in here, you kind of see this is the circulation on the radar that has a cyclone where the rotation is in the storm here. And if we measure that out from where we're at, that puts that couplet about 30 miles down to our southeast. On this display, it shows it real small up here, 31.1 miles from basically that couplet up to where we're at. So it's about 30 miles to our southeast still. Then if we look at the storm track on it, we're gonna beat it up in Kingdom City here. So if we get the track on it, it shows the time 1:42 here, 1:57 here. So about 1:45 is probably when it'll cross Interstate 70 near the Kingdom City area. So we're gonna get through Columbia. Traffic shouldn't be too bad, but I think there's like a construction area on the west side that'll slow us down. And then we'll get over to Kingdom City. Should be about 10-15 minutes out ahead of that tornado warning storm. And then we'll stop and try to get in and out about 5 minutes for the restroom break.
They're starting to become a dominant cell
Alright.
more toward the Kansas border, now northwest of Springfield.
Oh, you're talking about down southwest?
Yeah, I'm just looking at what else is currently going on. That couple of weekends a lot on ours.
I saw that on the last update. But sometimes I've seen them come back real quick too. But
Yep. Well, I mean, yeah, it popped up quick.
maybe it's just going to wait on us and make it so easy if it just kind of crosses Interstate
Yeah.
70. Put something on the ground and it's like it's right there.
Hopefully right after the interstate while we're right there. It doesn't hit anyone.
Where there's no cars, and maybe it goes east or west of Kingdom City, so it doesn't go through town. Yeah, that'd make it
Can you hear me, Claudia?
definitely
Hello? Type something you can hear if you're on the live stream.
severe thunderstorm warning way down there up in Palma. That's already started down.
Hello? Hey? Did you hear me? Gotta explain everything. No. Could you repeat that, Claudia? I'm an idiot? That's okay. Wait, who is that? Oh.
Echo Top's gone down.
It's nice to meet you, I guess.
Back down to 30, so it's gone down about 3,000 to 4,000 feet. Then there's Echo Top's coming up northeast of the 5B,
Interesting.
which is interesting that maybe a tower would be going up northeast. Another one, but there's kind of two Echo Top centers on that. I guess maybe just kind of probably tilted over so much that maybe there's
No, why?
that northeast ones that tilted the initial storm. Maybe there's enough depth going
The live stream?
New
We've also been in
up on the
occlusion, maybe.
side of it.
Some sort of
Oh,
occlusion or a split, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Especially with that velocity picking up. It's a weird place for it to split to.
Yeah, and it's weird. You know, been a low top storm like that, but there's a new, got a couple of that's starting up there on the.
Oh,
Well, I mean, you have to.
It's a pretty broad week.
Yeah, I
Kinda
see.
two pockets of rotation. in there.
Well, I mean, yeah, you have to buy health insurance
So
anywhere
maybe
you
that,
go,
you know,
right?
the old mezzo and the new one's starting to the northeast, but
yeah.
so that would make sense if
Not
the
that
tops would go
expensive.
down and then surely they'd go back up. It's right there on the warm front, it appears to be. That's an analysis. Storms actually south of maybe where the winds are backed and the better grading is. It's kind of on the south side of the grading on Tensor and Dew Point.
Yeah, okay.
But it's moving fast enough to make cross that warm front right there to 70.
Yeah, well, we're going to find it. I mean, we're in Colombia. It's 64.
Is that still a thing there?
Yeah. So we're still south of
Yeah, why?
Still south.
the second warm front. Or I meant north, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
I'm 25, no 75.
Well, at least it seems like the temperature in Dew Point work, that pressure's still on.
Yeah.
1026.9.
Can we visually see anything out there?
Okay, well, we can't really get out and
Yeah, we're still too far away.
stretching. So
Those little LCLs
Yeah.
today must be about probably 25 miles away from us still. Probably gonna have to be within 10 miles, I would think, out in this terrain before we see
Well-
much with it. So from where we're at now to where kind of this weaker rotation is showing, it's still 25 miles down there. So
Yep.
with LCL heights so low to so close to the ground today, it's gonna have to be pretty close. But I think a new broad air rotation is forming northeast of the old one, so they'll probably pulse back up. Hopefully be close to doing something, or already be doing something by the time it gets up to our latitude.
Yep.
Let's see, it's Mother Nature. She's gonna do what she wants to do.
That's true. So we can only get there when we get there. Hope it does the thing.
It's funny that there weren't any reports on here. There's a thundercloud report, but then there was never any tornado reports that popped
Yeah.
up on here. But we saw the drone
I'm gonna use
Yeah,
the live stream.
I wonder if it was just briefly down. Like sometimes when those LCL heights are so low, they can condense pretty quick and
Yeah.
be gone in like less than a minute. Like
Especially
that.
with the terrain, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to, have a little dew point cooling.
Pretty nice, a nice group.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that terrain
don't-
really
they
enhances
will
the
talk
inflow
about
sometimes
anything
too.
but
Like
yeah.
it'll channel it in between some of those hills and mountains, kind of accelerate the inflow into it to where it can get some stronger inflow into it briefly,
No,
and
but
then
I-
kind of move up over hill and kind of dissipate it.
Yeah.
Especially if the with as low
Sorry.
as everything is to the ground today.
Oh, I got an easy. Why? Well, I actually.
You want me to
have,
swap
like,
out
Starlink
when we-
Wi-Fi
I'm all good.
So still running.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to keep driving, go for it. But I don't mind driving either.
I think there's a sweet spot, where I have chased, but I haven't gotten closer to tornadoes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that's.
We'll see something this season. If you want me to
My
drive,
sister's-
I'll drive
my
you up right
sister's
next to it.
friend
Well, I have no
thinks
problem
all
driving up next to it. It's the situational
What is your
awareness getting
response?
there.
Yeah.
You're no
Yeah.
fun. You're no fun.
When
That's
to
it.
hit the button and get close and when to
Exactly.
back off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things that,
She says she's plenty.
once I've
fun.
chased as long as you, I'll probably have a lot better sense of it.
Yeah, and then it's, like
she's just
kind
getting
of
old,
being in a specialized vehicle where you could get close and inside some of the weaker ones.
They say
and
we
stuff.
are all old.
That allows you to be more comfortable, I guess, closer to them and kind of, I've been
For sure.
He
so
couldn't.
close
He
and
couldn't
kinda
make
seen
it.
how they
He
behave.
flew back to Chicago this morning
obviously-
because,
Oh, look at the velocity.
You gotta, it's kind of like, again, those tops are going
I
back
mean,
up.
when I first met him,
That's
he didn't
tight.
Look, like he had cancer.
That's stronger than the last one.
A lot, yeah.
Man, but I guess it's
I think I'm allergic to something.
Right?
Oh yeah, it's allergy season. I don't get them, but my mom's
Kind
been
of
playing
sad,
something
really.
for a while. The allergies, all the pollen and everything.
Sorry,
Yeah, St. Louis.
Allegra or
Oh yeah, I have stuff.
Claudia, can you tell me, translate that?
18 minutes. That would not surprise me if that's down.
Yeah, it's like
That
check
look.
the correlation coefficient, but if it's a weak one, it's not showing anything on the CC, but if it's a weaker tornado, it's going to have to lop the
This one?
above 8,000 feet to get anything on
It's
there.
not. Reed Timmer has a review. A modified like tradesman, basically. It has a radar and all that.
west of Kingdom City, so
It was closed
gas
by the
station
time the
across
dinner,
east of
you know,
town.
finished.
Yep. I mean, there's got to be something at that
Sorry?
exit.
I don't think we want to go all the way
I
to
asked,
Kingdom
he
City
did
yet.
not.
There was.
Well,
There's one exit. I think it's Highway C.
maybe I'll have an all.
It's up here in a few miles.
So let's go up 66.
Although I'd rather get. Do you want to get east of it or stay west?
We can get east of it, yeah, right there when we get off the interstate. It looks like there's a fast lane in Kingdom City. If we want to track north with it, we'll want to be kind of on the highway too.
Yeah. I mean, we're 12 miles from Kingdom City.
And if it starts rotating good and turns right, it'll probably, that storm track will shift off to the right anyway and probably go closer to Kingdom City. So
What's that?
let's just get in there. I don't see anything in between here. Surely there'd be a gas station.
I did not. I don't like movies and like fictional stuff. I like real. What'd she say? Sorry? Well, I prefer like Echo Spain because you know it has real footage and stuff like that. But I probably will watch it eventually. I know I like the YouTube hyped up. The 29th.
Temperature's starting to go up. We're now 65. Gone up a degree.
No, not at all. No, it was actually very, very smooth and everything. Actually, my plane landed like 5-10 minutes earlier than it was supposed to. Yeah, no problem. What was that, Claudia? Yeah, you know what?
I would assume St. Louis would extend this morning.
So today we're in Missouri, and tomorrow we're driving down to Texas because later in the week we'll see a lot of storms in the Texas Panhandle, up in Oklahoma, and all those things. But yeah, I figured that you don't talk to me like that. Have fun at church on Easter today? Yeah. What? I mean, wait a minute. I thought you liked going to church. All right. Bye.
notch developing on reflectivity.
Okay, cool. That's what we need to see. Just let it wait for us to get there. Just wait for the restroom break and get set up, and then it would do its thing and make it an easy chase day.
Ideally.
Minimize that. Just look up for GPS.
There's also a couple of updrafts popping up in front of it that might do a little merge.
Little nudger.
Yeah.
Little Cameron Nixon's research.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he spoke at the summit. He had a pretty good talk that he had on all that nudger stuff.
But he's doing it right. He's got some good stuff.
Plugging my phone in for a while. I still got a pretty good battery. Nothing yet? No? Yeah, looks like it's down there due south right now, but it's down there about 18 miles, and we'd be looking through the rain.
Yep. Not for long though.
No, it's going around the east of it.
Oh, and the fog.
It's going to be more intense north of 70, like Her was advertising, because Her was showing
Right,
more
yeah.
intense up northwest.
I mean, I can't imagine it'd be incredibly intense unless it's riding the warm front the whole way, which it fully might do.
Yeah, it's saying
But I'd be down to, and especially if this thing's moving at 35, we can keep up with
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, it's saying the meso strength index right now is at 4166, moving northeast at 35 knots, so it's roughly moving 40 miles an hour. Low level relative velocity is 38 knots. Max relative velocity is 38 knots at 10,000 feet. So it's still showing MSI on the radar scope. But they don't have a tornado warning right now, do they?
No, yeah, I don't know why they haven't extended. I mean,
Just interesting.
it's been, it hasn't looked great the entire time, but it's been so up and down that,
I don't understand why Columbia or Mizzou can never get the radar working. They're like in the perfect spot right now.
I know,
It's
right?
Like high resolution data, but it's like the thing never works. It's like reflectivity is not working on it, velocity is not working on it. So go back to St. Louis. St. Louis right now is where it's at. We got the velocity.
little B-weir.
Yeah, it looks like the RFD may be surging on it a little
Yeah.
bit down here now. Yeah, if we go to measure the distance, it's now scanning at about 6,600 feet. So it's getting a little closer, but it's still scanning a little over a mile off the ground. So close tilt on that thing.
Well, here's our exit. It's one of the exits.
Yeah, the main one. Is
I need to keep going, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it's telling me to take
Yeah,
this
keep
one.
going. It'll be the one that's 54 north, Highway 54.
Yeah, oh, fair.
So I think looking at maps, it'll probably
Another few
be
miles.
the next exit. And there's a Petro Travel Center over on the right. And looks like there's a couple convenience stores there. We'll probably just turn off.
I was gonna say, I think I found the front.
Amble blow off, yeah, if you look down to the southeast, you can kind of see the amble blow off from the storm down there. That edge up there, that's the amble blow off. And then as we're getting closer, you probably start seeing some inflow bands coming in from the east on it down there.
Can you see anything way back there?
What's that?
Can you see anything? Way back
Yeah, it's
there?
too hazy. But yeah, it looks like it's right on the warm front.
Well, it's got to be. Look in front of us. There's blue sky.
Something's clearing. It's got a pocket of heating out ahead of it.
And the velocity is picking back up. sure it'll go down next scan and pick up the scan after.
Absolutely. Probably already younger than that.
Looking at. We're 3/4 tank gas.
We'll probably just wait. We got plenty of
Yeah.
range for now. We'll always stop later, I'm sure. After a while, we'll just stop for another restroom break at some point before the end of the chase day. Probably when we have to break off this thing and go back west or south, there's some early stuff. But yeah, it should be this next exit up here.
Yep.
Yeah, there's several you can pick. There's a pilot over on the east side of the highway. You'll get off right and go south. And
You wanna,
there's
yeah.
that your Petro. It looks like a travel stop. So
So do you
maybe-
want to go north out of town?
Yeah, we do eventually, but when it's still south of town, I'm wondering if we get off here, if we'll have a better view down to the south. We kind of stay on the south side of town.
Might be, yeah.
I mean, we don't want to get too far behind and go up there, but I don't think Kingdom City's going to have a lot of traffic.
No,
when they get
it's
stuck
it's
at a
not.
light or two, but I
So you
it's
think
kinda-
right?
It's open enough here. Oh yeah, just go to the stuff that they look big enough that they'll have like multiple bathrooms. I try to stay away from the one holders
Yeah.
because then it takes forever to get in and out. So it's nice to. That's a truck stop over there. So even if you wanted to turn left and go over there, that'd put us back on the right side of the road to go north.
And maybe a better view.
Yeah, looks like that building is blocking a lot of that stuff. So.
Let's make this.
I'll just pop it here and you just leave it running while we're here. Usually I leave it running just so the inverter and everything doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it usually pretty much stays on, but I just shut it off if we don't have to that way.
Want me to try to aim the stream?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of pull in here and pull back that way if you want. You can even park
gonna
out like here if
probably
you
go
want.
over
We'll just
here.
kind of wait. I'm going to go in and use the restroom, but yeah, we can park out here. This will be kind of the closest area for now. We're going to park out here, just kind of keep the stream face towards the storm as it's coming up. But yeah, anybody that needs to get out, use the restroom.
Ooh, nice.
You have to put it. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Stop, drop, and pee.
I'm going to use the restroom too, but the storm will probably be up here in about 10 to 15 minutes. So still got rotation. It's currently not tornado warned, but it'll like.
It's now.
I'll feel it.
What was that, Brandon?
Yeah, if you need to drain the bladder, I'd do it now sooner than later. You need to go in and use the restroom?
I will, yeah.
Okay. Well, you go ahead and go in, and I can
Okay.
hang out here, and then like I'll keep an eye on stuff. And
Sounds good.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Been out there helping you got stuff. Being a bad host. Well, we are in Kingdom City, Missouri, and currently the storm just went tornado warned again. A couple of on it's kind of been coming up and down on it. A couple it's currently 17.3 miles to our southwest. It looks like if the storm tracks on the current track, for all you watching the stream, it should come right up here. In the stream here, kind of see the anvil blow off like up in there, and then we'll try to pan back over to the southwest just a tad. We're just stopping for a restroom break. The main storms down there, kind of just past that Petro sign. Again, it's about 17 miles down there with it being radar indicated and the coupler not being particularly strong at this point. We're going to kind of wait on it here. Probably chase it north of Interstate 70 for a while. There's a little bit better terrain for chasing once we get kind of north of Interstate 70 up there. And then we'll go from there. Hopefully it'll put down a nice tornado for us later on in this day. Hopefully out over open country. Once it gets away from the interstate and some of the towns, Kingdom City in this area, because it looks like right now the couplet will come pretty close to or right through Kingdom City, so hopefully it doesn't have anything on the ground as it comes through town, but there's some open farmland up northeast of town, and maybe it'll put something down out over there over open country and we can get it on the live stream for you. Trash bag in here real quick before we hop in. The trash was getting a little full back there, so I'm going to put a new trash bag in here real quick and then I'll get out of your way. And then it's... There you go. So, now that you're out here, I'm going to run in and use the restroom.
It says closed, but we went in.
Good.
Don't go by in there.
Sometimes you just got to break the rules.
Yes,
especially when
today.
it's
I know.
Good job. Good job. Proud of you. Yeah, that couplet's pretty strong now. Maybe down on the ground. We're going to go south of town a little bit because that couplet's strengthened a little bit. Once we get everybody back in, let's see if anything's showing up on the seat. Right there, does that line up with the couplet? Nope, it's a little bit east of the couplet.
Sorry, I can't run.
So I don't think that's a debris signature.
Yeah.
Alright.
We got everyone?
Yeah, we're waiting on Scott.
Ah.
Wow, that's pretty delayed on the stream.
I know.
Like while you were out, I emptied that trash can, but then I was kind of telling everybody on the stream what was going on and stuff. So that's
Yeah, my husband said, there's a lot of semis, and I said, we're not there anymore, it's delayed.
yeah, there are a lot of semis. So. Come on, Scott.
You want to go pick him up? Get him from up there?
Yeah, we can drive up a little bit closer. And... Just pull up there. That way we can get him in and get south. There's the chaser back there. Before we
I see it.
Yep, there it is. Either put it in the park or
Yeah, I got you.
We're coming to pick you up. Front door service. South, that couple's kind of tightening on it, so get south and then start back there.
You know, I was so stressed out with the packing and like don't forget anything on like the take on your trip list. Thank you. That I haven't been excited since I landed, but now this is like
Yeah.
Yeah, excitement
It
on your
begins.
first day.
yes.
Good first
You
day.
don't just get one and go home,
Right out of the gate. Oh no, we'll get as many as we can this week. We want to see as many as we can too.
Oh,
It's the name of the game. The more the merrier.
I kind of expect, so that updraft in front of it, I expect that to merge in and maybe that'll wrap them up.
Recycle. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's occluded now. So
See anything on the TDS, and the warning still looks like it's radar indicated. So that
The ladies
it's
at
confirmed it's
the
not
counter
radar.
were like, "That's coming towards my house."
the question now, I guess, is would you want to go back
Yeah.
north?
Look at Oscar.
Well, I'd like to at least get down and see the base.
Sure,
You can see
sure,
the
sure.
inflow band, so
Yeah.
might as well just get down on it. It's not moving too fast, and then come back north with it. I mean, we won't get all the way south where we get, behind it, but
Yeah.
especially if it cycles up real quick. We're kind of waiting on it up there, and
Oh yeah.
Rick goes, "Dang, you're already halfway home."
when we're ready, guess we do want to get some pictures of it. Going along the way too, but. Who's honking at who?
I don't know, man.
Get off the highway.
There's
They're
a
all
tornado
trying to
warning.
get off the highway.
Velocity.
Kind of looks ugly now.
Yeah, what do you? Yeah, let's just get south of town a little bit to see a visual. We don't get too
I think
close.
there's a road that I was looking at. There might be some trees there.
Northeast at 40 is what the warning's saying, so that's not too bad. And then we can kind of go up to Mexico and get east, or take some of these other roads if we need to.
Yeah. Of course, we got to get through the 6-minute traffic light.
Yeah. Well, coming back north shouldn't be too bad, but
Yeah.
How far away would you say we're from it? The storm.
right now the area with rotation we're about 12 miles northeast of it. So we're gonna go down just a few miles, try to find an opening area, see if there's any wall clouds, funnel clouds. There's not a tornado on the ground with it right now, but it could tighten up pretty quick and do something. I've seen storms, that's wrapped up pretty quick. Other times they teach you forever and never do anything. So just never know. It's in a good environment, and kind of want to get in there in case it does cycle back up. But right now it's kind of on a downward cycle with rotation. But it's been doing that, where we've been trying to get on it, where rotation will come up on it for a few scans, and then it'll weaken, then it'll come up a few scans, and then it'll weaken. So it's got a lot of clearing out ahead of it. So you think it'd be getting in a lot of good unstable air into it right now, because all this sunshine out southeast of it's being kind of pulled into the storm, the heating. And you see this inflow band going across the road, and you usually want to follow that inflow band back into the updraft base, and that's usually where you're going to have your wall cloud and tornado form as it does. So we're just trying to get a little bit south so we can kind of see a visual on this, and then we'll kind of stay out ahead of it and stage ahead of
Is
it.
there anywhere to stop up here? This is
Besides-
gorgeous.
Yeah, if there's something up here.
I think there might be something on the right. Yeah, there's a road.
Probably pull off on the right, and if there's a way to kind of face the band south there, like a pull-in.
Yeah, I got you.
Watch it from here and let it come up.
There's some driveway, something.
Yeah, we'll find something before we get down to this little valley. Yeah, it looks like there's a road that goes back over that way.
Yep, that's
Maybe
what I'm looking at.
a private residence, but they're not going to care if we're out storm spotting. Yeah, it's a road, so it's not private. And then down over here somewhere, it looked like you can pull off to the left up here. There's a little dirt inlet down here, the second one. I'll try to go down the second one. We may have some trees, but it is what it is. It's Missouri.
Yeah, we have plenty of trees.
Like we could drive around for 20 minutes looking for a spot and never find one. So once we get north of 70, it'll be a little bit better. Terrain will be a little bit better once we get north of 70 here. We've kind of got a little bit of trees and stuff, but we'll kind of hang here and kind of watch it. If anybody wants to get out for a few minutes and stretch their legs, you're welcome to do so, and kind of watch it as it comes in.
Is this within lightning zone or not?
What's
There's
that?
always a chance, but
Here you
Yeah, there's not very much lightning.
Yeah,
So I
it's
wouldn't worry
small.
too much
It's
about
low topped.
it. It's producing, a few bolts here and there, but it's not producing a lot of lightning.
There's your sirens.
Another one. See,
Back in the rain, but it's definitely lowering down in there. So we'll try to zoom in on that in between the trees and not really see anything down in there, but it's definitely the lowering. So. Yeah, I don't see anything on the camera either, but that's kind of where the lowering would be down in there. In that general vicinity.
I just remembered I actually brought one.
okay.
And that'll kind of be the game plan for now, just so we can kind of get a better visual on this. And then reposition accordingly to how it tracks and everything. But yeah, there's the big, this is the left edge of kind of the lowering here, just to the right of the road, if you can see it out of the front.
Oh, yeah.
And then back over that hill is probably where the better rotation and stuff's going to be.
Let me pull up
So maybe also when we get down here and stop, just kind of make sure either go ahead and swing around where maybe we're facing north.
yeah.
Just so
There's like a highway style exit way up there. I don't know if there's anything before it. There's this highway style exit, and then there's another one. I think we.
Oh yeah, we won't want to go into this town down here, Fulton. We'll probably want to kind of stop on the north side and probably even.
Do you want to go off on Fulton, or do you want to go Jeff
left
City?
here?
Okay.
Because this route's west and goes around. That way we can
Yeah,
probably turn around. We'll just go up to the north side of town and sit there.
It's a little safer
And
too.
then be lined up to where we can get back north pretty quick. But yeah, you can kind of see over the tree line there, that lowering. Dang trees.
Welcome to Missouri.
Yeah, it's Missouri for you. Chasing in misery. Even more trees in the back
Right.
here. I think like in the town they'd have some areas kind of cut open and cleared out, but
It looks like this area right here might.
yeah.
Strong emphasis on might.
Yeah, there's an intersection up here, but yeah, if you just find any open area to pull off, we'll do that. And if not, I guess we'll just have to kind of wait here, turn around and get back north.
There's one other chance at an open area.
And every tornado is
Yeah.
A little bit more open.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, look! Oh. Look, you can see where it cuts off right there.
Yeah, here's the
Oh, wow.
the rear
Yeah, look at
inflow
that.
band there up there.
These people are having a cow. We're in it. People are all.
Yeah, there's kind of some rotation out here to the west. Can't really see very well. Get down to maybe the
Yeah.
stoplight, then we'll kind of maybe flip around down here. Maybe it'll be open down here. Kind of get
Yep, here it is. Here it is.
Park there. Pull in here. Yeah. Right off to the west down
Should we go
there is where
left?
it's wrapping up.
Take a left here.
No, I'd kind of just hold it here.
Okay.
If
There's
you
one
want.
guy behind me.
Okay, just take it right for now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
kind of
little
the
driveway
RFD
here.
cut here. Yeah, just pull in here. You can even back in.
Yeah, I was
if
gonna say you
want.
want me back in.
Yeah, you don't have anybody behind us, so you can back in. Looks like it's really starting to wrap up back there
Yep.
to the west.
Further up?
What's that?
We can't go further up.
No, we got to try to stay out ahead of this thing. It doesn't look like a tornado is imminent right now.
Oh.
So really, the main area is wrapping up out to the west. You can see that kind of cut in there. So if it did produce a tornado, it'd probably be mainly directly out to the west. We've got southwest winds here now, so those are the RFD winds. So we're gonna have to turn around pretty quick and go north. So just stay in here. If anybody wants pictures out the window, get that. There's not a tornado down right now. We've already got southwest winds, so we're gonna have to get back northeast with it. Actually, we just got down here so we could see the lowering, but that clear slot's what's the RFD, and that's what helps wrap up the circulation into a tornado, like we were talking about earlier. But yeah, that RFD is really surging, so I'd probably start maybe going north now.
Yeah, you
you
wanna
think?
go?
Yeah, just so we don't get behind
I
it.
was gonna say it might. I don't know where the concentrated area of rotation is, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's still off to the west where it's trying to concentrate its
Yeah.
rotation, but
all right,
yeah,
back north.
Yeah, just go ahead and go north, and we don't want to get behind it. You want me to drive it all I can?
I'm all good.
Okay. Try to keep an eye on
If you
stuff.
want to drive, feel free.
No, I just, you know, since we're kind of getting up close
Oh,
right
I'm-
now, but
I'm good.
we're in southwest winds right now, so it's off to our west and
Yep.
northeast. It'll be crossing the road up here in front of us, but without a strong coupler, I'm not really too worried about driving under it. I mean, if it was rapidly rotating right now, then I'd be a little bit more concerned, but
Yeah.
you know, even when they start out, they generally start out fairly weak anyway.
Yeah, radar has gone down a little bit.
Yeah, I just kind of repositioned north up to 70 and let's get it in the better terrain. We already kind of got down here and got a peek of it, and it doesn't look too awfully, like even where that RFD was surging is kind of linear and not nice and round, so if it did put something down, it'd probably be pretty brief at this moment. It doesn't look like where it's highly organized. You see that RFD surge all the way out here coming in that RFD gust front.
Yeah, just follow it.
North back there. See?
This is we're coming up on that first road that we stopped at. If you want to stop,
I think at this point,
keep going.
yeah, just
Yeah.
keep going. For now, just because like get up north of Kingdom City, get into some better terrain.
Yeah.
Because on radar, like that velocity is like pretty weak right now.
Yeah,
I'd rather wait, get out ahead of it, and like let it tighten back up a little bit. Like,
Oh, nice.
it looks like visually it's just kind of cycling down right now.
We just passed CJ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He said he was retiring this sequence.
Yeah, like they always do.
Yep, we're going to get repositioned a little bit further north on this storm, wait for it to maybe pulse back up and mature. The echo tops actually, I mean it's tilted, but the highest echo tops we had are in northeast. They're at 35.
I mean, do you want to go east on 70? Another exit, or do you want to stay up?
Yeah, just maybe.
There's an exit just a little bit further.
I'd probably go up to Mexico because this spring's going to be nice and open up there.
Yeah, okay.
And that's not going to take us too long to get up there. And then if it does start looking like the coupler's going to get really strong, like that's only about another 15 miles north, so we'll lose visual of it for a while, but just looking at radar, I don't think like it's going to do anything yet. So it's like if you go east, then you're going to have to get off here and backtrack to the northwest. So it kind of makes more sense, I think, to go north and then go east. Because it looks like, according to the storm track, it'll pass out east of Mexico City. It'll take us a little bit of time to reposition, but once we get out there, it'll be in good terrain and we won't have to necessarily worry about it as much. I don't know, what do you think? I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
It's just like if you go, you'll have to go over to New Florence and then come back to the northwest. If you get
There's one before that. There's one to Highway A or Z.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about a third of the way to New Florence.
I say we just kind of go north. And,
Yeah, I'm fine with
that's
that.
Brennan's there.
Yeah, it is.
Just go north and then kind of go to Mexico. I know that area is real flat and open up there, and that'll be a good area to kind of set up and wait for it to maybe pulse back up and do something because it doesn't look like anything's imminent right now. Sirens going off.
Yeah.
Rabbit is good, rabbit is wise.
You gonna wave high?
Yeah,
No, he's behind us now.
I think he's got the same game plan too. Get up there and kind of wait for it to recycle and wait for it east of Mexico up there where it's in some better terrain. Because up here, it's just even down there you have to be right up under it really to see anything. And I don't think it's moving too terribly fast.
No, it's not. I mean, we were able to stop, go down, see it, come back up, and we're well ahead of
I
it.
mean, the warning's still saying 40, but. So we're going to go north about 15 miles and then go east from a town called Mexico. It flattens out real nice. There's some farmland out there and kind of wait for it to kind of reorganize and get up to our latitude up there. And then we'll set up out ahead of it where we can get out of the van and get more pictures and videos. And hopefully by that time it'll produce something
They
for
must
us.
be doing it too.
Yeah, that's Vince, I think it's Voltini.
Whale tea?
Whaley,
Something
Vince
like that.
Whaley. He does a lot of live streaming.
Yeah, they just put another tornado.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, we'll get back up north and kind of reposition for the storm, get out of some of these trees and hills, and be able to get outside the van a little bit longer with it, and then hopefully it'll finally do its thing when it gets up there. There wasn't really a lot of rotation organized per se back there. You can see the OFD cut and some of the inflow. So it did have some motion up under there, but it wasn't really like organized and concentrated. So we'll give it a little bit more time and kind of reposition on the storm. It's still moving at 40 miles an hour, so that's a pretty good clip. On those days where they're moving 40 miles or higher, you're usually doing a lot more driving than stopping and watching. When they're moving 20, 30 miles an hour, that's when you can kind of stop in a spot for 10, 15 minutes, and then, you know, move 5, 10 miles down the road, stop for another 5, 10, 20 minutes sometimes. Those are the nicer chasers. Those are nicer chases. Those are usually more later in May and June when the jet stream winds kind of weaken a little bit. This time of year, the jet stream's still pretty strong, so it pushes the storms along at a pretty good clip. So you gotta be a little bit more aggressive with the driving and stay ahead of them. If you hit the right spot at the right time, it's kind of like the name of the game.
It might be side lobe, but there's, look at velocity, there's kind of one that's off to our right.
Oh yeah.
You say there-
eye on it. I can see it down here. You can see this whole round mezzo off to our east out there. There's a little bit of a couplet. There's a little bit of a couplet, so I'd kind of be watching out there. A lot of time, like straight north, is 12 o'clock. So if you're looking at like a clock, that'd be like 3 to 4 o'clock out there. So we'll use that. Like if we say 6 o'clock, that's behind the van. 9 o'clock would be out that way. So the front of the van always faces 12 o'clock. So if I say, hey, tornado 4 o'clock, that's going to be out to your right and a little bit to the little south of due east out there.
I'm thinking go east out of Ovas, however you say it. That's the town before Mexico.
Maybe in a little bit more trees, but I guess I'll probably keep this.
Yeah, I guess I didn't look at that. Let's see.
Good lord, it's kind of got those two little noses in there now, but they both look fairly weak for now. But if it puts one down, yeah, we don't want to reposition too far away from it. Let's see if I can
It looks like it's mostly out of the trees.
There's do that tree. Yeah, let's just do it just so we can see. It looks like it's moving slow enough. I was just worried about
Sure, yeah.
getting too behind it, and sometimes they play a little too conservative too. When you're kind of waiting on the storm, you don't want to jump on it too early and get behind it, and then you don't want to be give you too far of a buffer zone if it does put something down. So I was trying to pick that fine line. If it had a really strong coupling on it right now, and especially TDS, I'd be like, hey, let's dive in there.
Yeah.
It's been tornado warned for ever since it produced that one at what, like before noon, and
Yeah.
it's produced another one. So
2.5 hours.
it's kind of been cycling.
It'll be straight behind us now. Maybe just like 5:30ish. You know, I'm waiting to see if we get another scan in before we hit this road, but I think, oh, we just did. It's weaker.
We go ahead and take it.
Yeah.
I got it right.
It's also, it doesn't go through town or anything.
Yeah, we want to get slid down by towns. Like from here to the couplet, it's about 3 miles away. Tornado warning's still going up. It's radar indicated. Line last, so it's 2 LCS type stuff.
that, yeah.
Saw that warning down there, and then there's a couple south of Fort Smith, Arkansas down there. It's all
Another change.
radar indicated, so.
Whereabouts?
I was gonna say, I assume. Okay, Vince is stopping there. You wanna stop here? Or you wanna go further?
Yeah, we can stop. Say hey to hang real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, there's a decent view.
Hang it up for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Boy, picture it doesn't look as organized here. The main area is kind of stuff back there behind the range.
Welcome to storm chasing.
I'm sure.
That's how this works.
I know.
You think it's gonna do it, and then it does the opposite of what you think.
This thing on the tees is cool.
Worst case, we'll get on those and get some stuff this evening.
Trying to get it for you.
Better than Central's kind of out here on these more isolated cells that are kind of out by themselves. But I think usually when you have small storms, if you get a large RFD cut like we saw back there, usually it'll kind of tear up the storm, and I think that's probably what happened with it. The RFD surge was too big for that smaller low top storm, and it kind of just tore up the storm structure. Because it was looking good for a while, and then it's like it just kind of messed up. But that RFD surge when we were down on Fulton was pretty large, so you get a large RFD surge on a small storm like that, and a lot of times it'll kind of weaken it and choke it off. But
That's me getting liquid in my charging port.
oh no,
Getting
So-
what?
your phone alerts you if it does. Well, this
Yeah.
one looks like it's pulsing up a little bit to the east.
Yeah, it kind of. I think it's maybe starting to come. No,
I guess
it's had a few pulses. Do you want to go north from this? I think that's my gut because it's faster.
Yeah, let's go,
Go.
north, go east at Mexico, and then we'll go maybe another 30 minutes. And if it doesn't do anything, I say we probably try to backtrack
Sure, yeah.
more back to the west and everything, and get that line. Well, it's still pretty early, so it's not gonna be dark for another 5 hours or more, five and a half. So we can get that line this evening. Worst case, probably get some good lightning and hail with that. Maybe some straight line winds, but all the tornado warnings down there are radar indicated too. So I don't like there's anything confirmed.
It's like I don't know if the chaser would be able to confirm even if they were back in there. I mean, you have to be really
Yeah.
close to that to.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of trying to get in there and see those QLCL tornadoes. I mean, if I was chasing solo, I'd be a little bit more avid at it. But when you're responsible for a lot of people, you don't
Yep.
take any unnecessary risk. Plus, it's not going to be highly photogenic, and those usually don't last more than a scan or two anyway. So if you're not at the
Yep.
right in there at
It's
the right
luck,
time,
yeah.
you're not going to see it anyway. But, yeah, the clouds were rotating all crazy. It just didn't really tighten up and do its thing. It looked like it was getting organized there a time or two, and then as soon as it did, it kind of just fell apart. That's the way the storms go sometimes. You sit there and tease you and spin and rotate like a top all day, and they won't ever put anything down to the ground. And then you get on these other supercells that'll produce tornado after tornado and make it look so easy. Like, you know, I think with it being on the warm front, it would have kind of gone bonkers today, but for some reason.
Where are we headed now?
We're going to go up to Mexico up here, and then we're going to go east. So on here, we're down here. We're going to go, this is the town of Mexico, and then we're going to go east into some more open terrain and get out ahead of this storm and see if it'll pulse back up. And sure, it's kind of a newer developing storm, but you can kind of see how everything kind of weakened there for a while, and then maybe this will try to reorganize. It's still pretty isolated out there, and if that doesn't do anything, then if we switch over to the Springfield radar down to our southwest, there's some tornado warnings, but you can see it's a pretty big linear type storm. So like this is going to be back in the rain if there was a tornado. We'll look at the velocity real quick on here and show you that this is where the tornado would be. It's pretty broad rotation right now. It's radar indicated, but you can get quick spin ups on there. They're called QLCS tornadoes. Kind of where we're out of Springfield now, so the radar site's up to the northeast. So these would be like the greens would be inbound out of the southwest. These would be away out of the northeast. So your main rotation's there. But then if you flip back over the precip reflectivity mode, you can see that's going to be back in a bunch of rain. So it's going to be a rain wrap, low contrast. Those tornadoes don't usually last much more than 5 or 10 minutes, so they're not going to be the nice photogenic type tornadoes that you want to see. They're going to kind of be hidden back in the rain. So we're not going to jump on that line until later on this evening when these little storms are done, because we're in a better environment for tornadoes right now, but we just need an isolated storm to kind of sustain itself out here. And then these, I mean, there's a chance later on tonight if that low-level jet this evening kind of intensifies and the winds kind of back and turn more out of the southeast, that some of these storms in the line could clean up but most of the time they don't once they go linear.
That was southwest of Fulton.
No way.
Where's
Yeah.
that?
Back in the hills and the trees.
Really, who got that?
Jordan Hall, same. I think another drone.
Oh, had to use a drone to see it. Yeah. Well,
Again, it's Missouri.
Scott was kind of pointing that out back there in the rain, so we kind of saw that feature down there. But had to have a drone to see it, huh?
That's how it always is, right?
No, I think we're going farther.
Well, I guess I should have got mine. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, fair.
Yep, good for Jordan, but it's cool that he got one. I don't know. If we would have been down there, we probably wouldn't have even seen it.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think these are freaking out. So.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Nothing else. You know,
What's that?
nothing between us and Joplin is surface based. There's a couple storms to our west, you know, kind of same latitude ish, but they're yeah.
Back down below. Yep.
Okay, Scott.
Look at those clouds over there now. It's so pretty.
Look at the Scud in front of us.
Nice.
I guess I can't tell if it's rising or we're just coming up on it super quick because it's so low.
There's no big white one right there.
Getting a lot of low clouds. It doesn't take much to kind of get stuff spinning up, but
Yep.
our drafts are.
Is there any 3 Cape here?
Yeah, there should be.
My vision would be worse. I would say it is a tornado.
The storms are right along the gradient, but whether we can let them know other than
I don't know. I'm not
I think you're onto something with them just kind of blowing themselves apart with a huge
too much
RFD.
RFD and not the big
Thing.
storm, but yeah, there's kind of some motion on the back end of that. Vorticity, so yeah, these are kind of moving off that 0 to 3 kilometer Cape pocket. They're kind of moving into less up there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the warm front's actually still back to our southwest if you go off the way the winds are back. So we're probably getting up into some cooler, stable air, and that's why they're another reason why they're weakening. There's also some sun they're moving into. It's
Yeah, that's the warm
minus 50, minus 75 gradient, and they're getting ready to cross. So we'll probably try to see about if we can set up maybe on something else. I mean, we'll go east to Mexico, but I don't
Yeah.
think now that they're north of the warm front, we'll do much of anything. The latest herd run.
Okay.
What
are we doing?
just getting off the road.
All right.
Yeah. The HER shows this line plowing through Missouri and pretty intense, but everything's embedded. This is the 18Z run, the latest herd. Felicity swaths on it. See, there's a lot of storms down there, so I mean, we can take Highway 54 all the way down, and it will be in worse terrain, but we'll get more storms this evening with maybe some embedded mesos in it.
Yeah.
Maybe stay out ahead of it. Don't let the mesos or couplets come right over us, and we'll be all right. tornado parameter kind of stays up in this area. It's at 23Z, so that's at 6 p.m. Still kind of northeast. So if there's any way we could get another isolated storm to pop, the SIG tour kind of stays. Kind of goes up along that boundary, but then max has out about 5, 6, 7 o'clock from like Columbia northeastward. So I don't know if it wants to kind of stay up there on the north side of that line. Looks like it'd be in a better environment for tornadoes and possibly better terrain.
Yeah.
So weekly doing the same. Big old line back to the west, and that one, this tornado one, looks like it's going to head eventually up towards the Columbia area or go back 150 miles away, so we'll get 3 hours or so before we got out there. Maybe even more. How fast it's moving. So, and that's moving northeast at 60, so it's back there in the stronger winds. So it'll be up here a little quicker if it's a 150, 160 miles away. It'll be up in about 2.5, 3 hours. So we start maybe working our way back southwest towards that and just see what we get with that line. There'll definitely be a little bit more lightning and maybe a shelf cloud or something footage with that.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out to be as big of a
Yeah, right.
tornado day as
Not yet.
it could have been, at
We're
least.
gonna go left here. Go closer
Yeah.
to town. Maybe find a gas station like people.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll look for gas station real quick. You said there's a town west of here?
Yeah, Mexico straight. Straight to
yeah.
left.
Yeah, we'll go into town. Give everybody another restroom break, regroup, and see what we want to do. I don't see any point in staying up here unless something else fires and it's like, well, what's going to fire? So I like to kind of get down on that line, but then if you get on it too early with it moving 60 miles an hour, it's going to fly right by you.
Yep.
But I think you kind of do as much as you can with today.
Yeah, I have no problem with how we played today.
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed with how the storm decided to evolve, but
Yeah, you can't. That's out of your hands. You don't have any control over that.
yep.
Especially when you're in chasing in this kind of terrain. You know, if you would have been out in western Oklahoma or Kansas, it would have been a completely different story with nice gridded roads and open areas where you can see stuff for 10 miles.
Eventually.
Have hills and trees in your way. Yeah, we'll get there later.
48
this week.
hours.
Back in some nicer chase terrain. I mean, I chase out here won't have to, but if I could have a secondary target, I wouldn't chase Missouri or Arkansas today. But up here, I mean, it's still doable. They can still see all the hills and the trees, and like, you know, unless you're lucky and have an open farm field or you let stuff pass right over you, you're not gonna have it tricky to see stuff up here anyway. It's just the way it goes.
Yep. How about a Casey's? That sound good?
Yeah. Casey's is always good. Probably just waiting to get gas. Still got range of a little over 200 miles. I think within 200 miles, probably stop again. Do that. We're going to stop here for a restroom break. We're going to kind of reorganize the storms to the northeast. They're moving kind of out of the favorable environment. That's another reason why they're weakening. So most likely we're going to try to start getting southwest and set up for this line. Maybe this storm will stay out ahead of some of the other stuff, or maybe as a low-level jet backs this evening or turns more to the southeast, it'll help maybe get a little bit more separation in those storms. But usually once they go linear, like I was saying earlier, they don't go, you know, semi-discrete or discrete again. But we'll at least get some more severe weather with that. Maybe get some small hail, some straight line winds, see some good lightning. Maybe we'll get a quick spin up off of one of them, but for the most part, you know, that was kind of the better environment to play storms today, and it just didn't materialize for us in that area.
that's just rude.
Yeah.
Correct.
It still might materialize though.
Yeah.
I mean, the day's not. It's 2:30.
You never know. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they look pretty good, and we'll be in much more favorable chase terrain. I'd rather be out chasing in the Texas Panhandle or Western Oklahoma than in all these hills and trees anyway. I'm not a big fan of really chasing up in this terrain, but when you have to, when it's really the only play, you know, you try to do the best with what you have to work with kind of situation.
Right.
So, out here you gotta be up real close to stuff just to get good views of it and stuff. What's that?
Well, what else are you doing today, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to say anything. Happy Easter. everybody.
Don't forget it's Dee's birthday.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow. I didn't know it was his birthday either, yeah.
Dee's birthday today.
Yeah, I kind of screwed up. I made that schedule back in July of 2024. I didn't even pay attention to the calendar.
Yeah,
So
same here. I just saw an opening. I'm like, oh.
I didn't even think about it being Easter, and then like this morning I was going to invite anybody that wanted to go to like church services this morning and try to do it at 8. And then thinking, wow, we probably leave at 10, but since it was like stuff that was going to fire up, so I didn't have an opportunity to do any of that stuff.
We didn't think about it either.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until I had a tour guest that booked this for him, and he's like, hey, can I make a tour too? So I looked and see on that. He's like, yeah, I didn't realize when I booked it. Because usually it's not this late making it. Usually it's like March or earlier. So I think I don't I haven't yeah, man, that's kind of weird. It's like, you know, these potheads are fucking leaving today, all this. Nothing wrong with that, but it's like, you know, kind of makes them look together, you know, and you got people who use regular.
Canada, there was a wheat store on every corner. Go into convenience store, and there's like a line up of dogs. I don't know if it's like that here in the States.
sun's coming out. It's gonna warm up.
That's a good thing.
Get all cold and wet, and now it's gonna get all warm and hot. Maybe we'll have a rainbow off to the east.
Yep.
It'll get warm and creep more of an updraft, right?
Need that heating.
I'm
Yeah,
learning something.
that sun really helps drive and fuel the storms and the tornadoes. So
Good.
that's why a lot of times your prime time for tornadoes is usually not this early in the day. It's usually 3, 4 o'clock, or really 5 to 9 p.m. is like the prime time when most of the tornadoes occur. And then the sun goes down. And
Oh, you did?
the surface
That's
starts
funny.
cooling off.
I
And then
was thinking,
usually
like,
in
so
most
much
cases
further
that starts swelling the tornado threat once you start losing the heating of the day. So it's usually that heating of the day that really drives a lot of the tornadoes and severe weather.
Yeah, I mean, just like in the Northeast, pop-up thunderstorms once again, a lot of humidity.
Yeah. Get that out of your way. Call here the spider web.
You got it?
Moving our target area now.
Happy birthday.
What?
Oh, I said happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't realize it was your birthday today.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
20.
Ready?
You ready?
Yeah. Go get us a rain wrap QLCS tornado.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. I don't know, with the low level shear profiles, these things might clear themselves out.
Well, that's what I was thinking. If those winds can kind of back and stuff, especially with this one kind of being the lead one, you can kind of see maybe
Yeah.
you can maybe get a little bit more on that lead one. So, yeah, it looks like they just issued a new tornado warning on it, but it's still
Radar
radar
indicated.
indicated. So I'm gonna put the map on here real quick and plug in the route to turn up my volume on this thing first.
I'm looking at Sedalia, Missouri.
Yeah, that area is pretty open out there, kind of out there in west. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and plug in a route for that for now. So just go back down where we came and
Starting route to 1407 South
volume
Warren
down
Avenue.
there. You see the volume button there? There's a remote there for it. Probably had it on the last time somebody was watching a movie back there.
Yeah.
Probably watching Twisters or the original Twister. Sometime on the travel days, we'll put on movies.
That's
They can
tomorrow.
watch. Yeah. Mother Nature teased us for a while.
Loves to.
Let's go see if we can get something good on the linear stuff. Sometimes I've been surprised before. You get on stuff and you don't expect it to do something, and then it's like, well, I guess as they say, like Mother Nature says, here, hold my beer.
Yep. That's it.
I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. Still something sinking here back there, but there's not really
There's
anything.
nothing on radar.
Yeah, this stuff just kind of just fizzle out.
It still is getting weaker and weaker every scan. I assume a good strategy is find the warm front, find the QLCS, and go where the warm front and QLCS touch.
Try to stay a little bit east of it and look west, you know,
Yeah.
try to look in there before it, try to look back in that inflow notch where you don't get set up in the path of it, but you try to see something back in there in the rain.
How far was it to?
It says it's an hour and 36 minutes, so we'll be there about 4:21. It says is our arrival for Sedalia. So 107 miles.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get to Sedalia and stop and gas up because we'll beat the storms there, won't we?
Yeah, that's what I was checking. Let's-
If not, we can stop somewhere along Interstate 70 and gas up at like a Love's or something.
Actually, I don't know if we will. Is there 95 miles? That couplet's 95 miles from Sedalia. It's moving at 60. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we'll just stay up along Interstate 70 again then, because that was kind of the original game plan. We could stay out ahead
Yeah,
of
I
the
guess we
line.
can, yeah.
I mean, you wanted to be on the warm front, but I mean, if that stuff's flying at 60 miles, you're not going to keep up with it. So just kind of get out and traverse our way kind of back east along 70 as they're coming up and see what we get with that.
Where are we headed now?
We're going to head back down to Interstate 70 and go west, probably out west of Columbia, and meet up with this storm that's tornado warned down in the line right now.
Okay.
So we'll probably set up somewhere maybe around like the Boonville area, or maybe just a little bit south of there. There's some open areas down in that region as well, where there's kind of some farmland and some rolling hills where we can probably set up. But once we get on those storms, they're back in some of those stronger winds that I was showing you on the models this morning. So instead of them moving 40 like these storms were, they're moving at like 60 miles an hour. So we'll want to pick a nice east-west highway to where we can kind of, because we won't be able to keep up with any individual cell in the line very long when they're moving that fast. But what we can do is kind of stay east out ahead of it and kind of watch them as they come up and just kind of advance east to stay out ahead of the line as some of the individual embedded cells come through, and then maybe get a spin up off of that, or get some good, maybe a nice shelf cloud, gust front, hopefully some good structure, lightning, maybe getting some hail, maybe get some 60-70 mile per hour winds, things like that. But with that being lined out, the tornado threat's going to be a little bit lower now, and a lot of the tornadoes, unless they kind of clean up a little bit, are most likely going to kind of be more back in the rain. They're going to be harder to see, and with the moving 60 miles an hour, we're going to kind of keep a little bit more of a distance on the area rotation than like what we did on this last storm, where we kind of got, I think we were probably about a half a mile to a mile east of it with that one, just because our reaction time's not going to be as quick with storms moving that fast. And I think we'll get some better storms later on in the week down in Oklahoma and Texas, with some tornado potential. The tornado potential, the environment may be a little bit lower for tornadoes, but there's one thing that us chasers say, that there's always Texas Panhandle magic. It seems like magic things can happen out in the Texas Panhandle, where these really low looking benign days end up kind of producing these amazing tornadoes out there. So sometimes you don't really think it's going to be that big of a day out there, and then it is. A couple years ago we chased a 2% day out there and down by the town of Morton, and got a large wedge tornado that sat on the ground for about half an hour and didn't hardly move at all, and we were about 2 miles south of it, and super strong RFD winds, just sitting there watching that thing north of us on the road. We're actually in the path of it when it developed. And I got a couple miles south, and we pulled off in a farm, and we just sat there and watched it the whole time until it got wrapped in rain. And then we kind of repositioned and saw a couple more tornadoes. That was on an outflow boundary. So I was telling some of you outside Casey's that sometimes you can get, like if we get storms down there Tuesday, maybe they'd lay out a boundary that a storm would interact with on Wednesday, or maybe like Wednesday night if we get storms, maybe like Thursday. Thursday was looking pretty good in northwest Oklahoma when I looked at it on the GFS, but with it being that far out in time, it's weather, it's apt to change, and it probably will. So, we could be set up somewhere else, but it'll be, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, look like some potential. They already got like a marginal risk for severe weather for Tuesday, which is kind of their lower end of severe weather risk, but that may just mean because storms will be more isolated. If they're only expecting 1 or 2 storms, they're not going to do like a moderate or high risk in most cases, if like the convection is going to be rather isolated, because it's more of a probability outlook than like basically how many storms there's going to be, as like if only 1 storm is expected to fire in an environment. There's rare cases where they may put a 10% risk out for tornadoes, but in most cases it's going to be more like a 5% day, and that's why I like the 5 and 10% days, and even had success on some 2% days, and I like those better just because the storms are going to be a little bit more isolated. They don't have as much competition, and it's a little bit easier from a chase target area to hone in on the right storm you need to be on, so you don't have a bunch of storms, like getting on this line and getting a tornado off that. It's more, I mean, some of it's skill of paying attention to the parameters in the environment, but a lot of it's more luck, being on the right cell at the right time, especially when they're moving that fast. Kind of want to be maybe along that warm front where the winds are backed a little bit better, and there's a little bit more lower level shear in the atmosphere. But outside of that, just catching like those QLCS tornadoes, a lot of that's more luck than like skill, because you just really got to be at the right place at the right time to see those, because usually they don't last very long. The couplet, you know, it's on radar for a scan or two, maybe 5-10 minutes at most, and then they're gone. And then another one may spin up later on. So they're a little bit more challenging to chase and try to get on, but we'll try to see what we can do with the rest of the day, and that'll kind of get us back a little bit further southwest to set up for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I wonder if they had some damage or a wreck or something up there. Had a couple police going north. Maybe somebody hydroplaned.
Could be. I mean, definitely not storm damage.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We had a lightning strike in Wichita last week that set like a industrial building on fire. The lightning was pretty crazy, and then lightning struck and saw an orange glow. Went and checked it out. I went and got some video. Well, I posted it on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. But yeah, that lightning was crazy. Seen quite a few lightning-induced fires. One was out in a couple oil tanks getting struck.
Yeah, I mean, especially in those areas where you have so much oil.
Yeah. So I've seen a couple of them catch on fire, and then like out in Oklahoma Panhandle when it's been real dry, you know, see grass fires start due to lightning. That's pretty common out there. They haven't had rain in a while, and you know, you get some of those bolts from the blue or lightning striking out away from the storm where it really hasn't rained much, and set that grass on fire.
Oklahoma-Kansas border.
Oh wow. That's a lot further south. It's going to be racing northeast then with that jet mix coming through, because if the NAM's correct, it had it clogged up by, well, northeast of Mexico and northeast Missouri by 7 p.m.
Yeah.
That's, well, that analyzation was probably, what, an hour or two ago? But still, from 2 to 7, that's 5 hours, so it's going to race across the state of Missouri in 5 hours. Where's the effective warm front? It's still to our south, isn't it?
I think so.
It looked like it off the surface.
Is your phone updating ops? 66. That's what we're probably.
Yeah, it should be. It looks like it updates the temperature and dew point pretty well.
There's another officer.
Looks like it's some type of SWAT team.
Yeah.
They're going out on a raid.
Yeah, right.
Gonna go raid Mother Nature for not giving us a show.
I agree. Tax dollars hard at work ensuring that we get tornadoes.
Yeah, I thought today would be a little bit more exciting up here, a little more friendly.
Yeah.
Her was off.
Yeah.
North of 70, and it's showing it was going to be a better storm, and got north of 70 and fell apart. But maybe it was thinking the war front was going to keep lifting north with the storm, and it didn't. Because I don't know. We got a little bit of action.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun.
We'll get some more later.
Cloud motion.
Day is not done yet. Sometimes persistence pays off.
Yep. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. I mean, the chase is nowhere near over.
Yeah. There's a few cumulus clouds up there, but really not much convergence in this area. But
Yeah, there's a blip right near Columbia. Are you looking off this way?
well, I was just looking at the tops of those cumulus clouds up there. It's not even a tower yet, but kind of see a little bit of vertical motion up there rising. Probably just more through thermals than anything else. but-
Yeah. There are some little updrafts popping up ahead of the main line. I guess if they feel like sustaining, they're more than welcome to. Strengthening even.
They're getting our students. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't think I've really seen or talked to Vince since Hurricane Ida.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm online, but not in person.
Yeah.
I mean, I see him out there on the road, but it's always like passing, waving. Where I haven't really stopped him, said hey much. I'm sure I've seen him since then, but yeah, that's, I think 2022 is Ida. Down in Houma, Louisiana. It's a strong Cat 4. It's kind of consensus that maybe it was a Cat 5, but I never upped it to Cat 5. That thing was very, that's probably one of the slowest hurricanes I've ever chased. It just kind of sat there and we were in the eyewall for hours and hours and hours. I think Michael was a little bit more intense in 2018, but Ida was definitely a contender. Everybody's flying 70 through here.
There. Well, I know that pickup was with us on the side.
Oh, he had that nice, like 10.
Yeah, he was the
15,000.
one with the giant lens.
Okay. I wonder who that was.
His license plate was PG Photo, so
Flying down to the line. Got to get down to the next tornado warning.
yeah, go get pictures of squall line.
Doesn't hydroplane first and roll his
Right.
truck.
Yeah.
But it's tornado warning, so you got to get there, right?
Red box. Go drive to the red polygon.
It's 45.
There's a little updraft coming up just to our west. It's very small, but
Something to keep an eye on.
hasn't started weakening.
Come on, little storm, grow. I'd rather get another isolated cell than get on that line, but we Gotta go with whatever Mother Nature's gonna give you. She's gonna do what she's gonna do.
Back on 70.
Like deja vu. Well, this is like your third time. On
Yeah, I was gonna say this is my third
70.
time.
Like in the last 2 days, right?
Yep.
You're like, I'm sick of Interstate 70. It's like, get
I've
me
been
out.
sick of Interstate 70 for 6 years or 7
Yeah,
years.
every time I drive through with all these semi trucks going from St. Louis to Kansas City all the time, it's so congested.
It's so bad.
It's like they need to at least make it like a 3-lane both ways because it can get pretty bad at times. So, all the semi traffic and then all the traffic in there.
I guess this is the updraft base of what?
Yeah, it looks a lot higher base than the other
Yeah,
stuff.
very high base.
Much higher LCO heights. That's for sure. A couple different tornado warnings in there, are all of them still radar indicated now.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Boonville will probably be a good area to go, and then we can work our way south, which
Yeah.
that should keep us out ahead of the line. There's a Love's there when we get off, but to go south at the Boonville area that we can stop at and get some, go ahead and top off the tank and do another quick restroom break. I think that set up for the linear stuff.
Oh boy. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm so excited.
It's another thing, usually at every gas station stop, usually
Yep.
collect some flies.
Oh, yeah.
You probably experience that. It's like they always hang out at the convenience stores around all the trash cans, all the soda thrown away.
Yeah.
Then you get the honeybees that hang around there too.
Oh. Yeah. Not a fan.
Use caution, water over the road.
There's. I guess he's on.
That's what that sign said back there, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't think. Probably be older, maybe when the storms didn't seem like they were big enough to dump a lot of rain. I wonder if that was a few days ago when we had all the rain
Oh
out
yeah,
here
it's
and
been
raining.
very wet here.
They just haven't taken the sign down yet or something. If I got it or not.
That looks fun. Oh,
There's
found
some.
it.
Just a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah.
this little sedans, they don't do very well. He slid off the road.
Yeah, he hit it right there.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of water across the road back there. There's a sign a few miles back saying water across the road.
There's more.
Holy crap.
We're good. This van usually does pretty good on the water,
Hey, I
but
rolled my car 4 times. 3 years ago.
3 years ago,
I got a little panic.
yeah. I don't blame you.
There's gonna be more of those. I actually remember this stretch driving up.
Did you? Was it
Yeah,
worse the other
It
day?
was pretty rainy. It wasn't worse than that, but it wasn't great.
Try to get over in the other lane over here. Well,
Yep. I'm a
now that we got some following distance, I'll have a little bit of time to slow down before I hit
I'm
it.
the child of what not to do with driving. Thank you. I had a fractured foot.
Yeah, I wonder what they're doing with all this. Are they making it 3-lane now, or expanding it?
I remember all of it. I remember every flip.
Yeah, maybe 4 lanes each way.
Yep.
More water.
It was funny because I drive a Subaru, and as soon as I landed, I heard Mrs. Lynn, Mrs. Lynn. I thought, oh my God, it's the angels. It was really the little lady coming over Starlight and basically saying, we're crashed, whatever. Came on and she's like, are you okay? We've already got fire rescue coming. And I'm like, I'm fine. It's hanging upside down. So, yeah. It saved my life. Yeah, I have a cross track right now. When I rolled, I was in a, oh crap, Outback. And then we've had them all but the Ascent. Well, we've had them all but 3.
I got another hydroplaning over there.
I couldn't get back into
Maybe just an accident.
Outback because it just freaked me out. But it was my favorite car that I've had. I've ever Yeah, we've not had the Impreza or the Ascent. Yeah, I'll never drive another car. There it is. Yep. Well, and the sheriff's right here. They're like, do you know what happened? I said,
Was
yes,
that
I
a
was
drone
playing on
video,
my
the
phone,
only
and I drove
image
up
you
the
saw
road,
that
and I
one, or
told
were there
my
other people that got
driving
that
on
down
the
there?
wheel. I was trying to get back on the road.
It's just a
I tried to
drone
get back on the
image,
road,
but
and I hit one of those little like drainage ditch things.
Because there were other people that were down there on it, right? At
Wheel
that
and
time?
just flipped.
yeah, I'm seeing a video
And
from
then some little man climbed
Ben
the car
Williams. He
with
said
me.
just north of Jefferson City.
It's like,
That would have been further southwest.
it's like,
Yeah.
like a bottle of water. I'm like, lady, I'm hanging upside down.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't think anything was confirmed on the warning at that time, but
I mean, they
just
were
out in
super
the
nice.
hills and trees.
It's one of those
Like-
classic.
Like you could see Spruce.
Okay. What? Yeah, have a drone too, or was it just up on
I
a high
think
spot?
that doesn't look like a drone. That looks like
Yeah, it looks like
trees.
it's up on a high.
That's my
Maybe a hill looking through the trees.
Yeah.
But like this was my belly.
Yeah, it's tricky out here.
Seatbelt. I did have that. Oh yeah, I had that, but I must have just hit it on the ceiling or whatever. But all like the seatbelt stuff.
So it was only on the ground for a couple minutes.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's the thing with storms like that. You know, I think everyone that storm produced today was down pretty quick in the event, so we're not on it at like the right time. We don't have a drone up in the air, you're not going to see it out here in this
Well, and I
terrain.
had to call the lot to release my car to the insurance agent, to insurance, obviously. And the little guy, I go, this is Christy Lynn, I had to bring it out back. I rolled it.
But it's nice to see that storm season is finally lighting up. We had stuff in Texas yesterday.
Yeah.
Stuff here today. That looks like
Texas for
I didn't find out.
maybe midweek some more good stuff. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I thought I had broken my wrist because it was instantly black. And they x-rayed that and it was fine. So I mean it took weeks.
also, I don't know if either of them are in a good environment or if it's just we're relying more on dynamic forcing.
You know we're related to snowball guys. Yeah, that was one of
down to our southwest. It's racing northeast at 60 miles an hour. Kind of lined it up, looping it. It's going to pass pretty close to or west of Syracuse, and since we've actually got a nice kind of open farmland area out here, we'll probably kind of hang there and wait and see if this will tighten up or maybe do anything as it comes through. If anything, we probably, if we don't get a spin up on it, we'll probably get some straight line winds, maybe 60, 70 mile per hour winds. It's warned right now for quarter size hail and 70 mile per hour winds. But this is kind of, if I switch back over to precipitation mode, you can see the kind of embedded in the line here. So the rotation is just kind of on the leading edge of this line here. So kind of where the inflow is kind of tucking back in and the outflow is kind of surging east. You can get little quick spin ups on that area. Not the nice supercell tornadoes we want to see. But if anything, we should get some pretty decent winds out of it as it crosses over. So when we get down to Syracuse, we're going to kind of hang out, line up that couplet, and see what we can see as it comes up. It'll be moving pretty fast, so we won't be able to keep up with it for too long. And then after that, pretty much, if we can't keep up with it, our day with the terrain and the roads out here, our day may be done after this last line comes through, just because when they're moving 60 miles an hour, even out in western Kansas where you got a nice gridded road network, it's even hard to keep up with storms out there when you have this may be our last surge, but we'll kind of keep an eye on some of this stuff developing further back to the west. It's probably in even less instability and probably more associated with maybe more of the kind of the upper level low back there than the surface low out here with this stuff. So I don't think the lows were vertically stacked, were they?
No,
yeah,
it shouldn't be
kind of
for
more
this
of a
one.
cold force, so yeah, we've got it swinging out. So, or we can try to get east, but kind of keep an eye on a couplet and slide it up.
I'm just going to go right here for...
Yeah, I think you'll go for a little bit of stover, but once you get west of town, it'll open back up. But it looks like there's some open areas out here too.
Yeah.
So kind of just hang out in there.
Now the question is, what, you know, yeah, where do we set up to let this thing get close?
A lot of people that were chasing out here today, more people missed out than, you know, what they caught. So I'm liking the midweek stuff further out west a lot better.
My gut says east of here.
Yeah, it looks like I'm seeing what you're seeing too,
Yeah.
down in this area that's going to come up east of Tipton. So we're going to go back east a little bit. Kind of this is the stronger area, this stuff coming up, and with it moving northeast, it looks like it's going to come pretty close to the Tipton area, which is only about 5 miles to our east. But we're going to kind of line up for this area, and maybe it'll tighten up. If anything, it'll have probably some pretty strong winds in it. This latest severe thunderstorm warning on it is saying tornado possible. So even though it's not tornado warning, with this kind of shear and these potential quick spin ups on the leading edge, they usually put that in the verbiage when they issue the severe thunderstorm warnings, just to kind of cover their bases if a tornado quickly develops. So that's why the severe thunderstorm warning says tornado possible.
Wouldn't that, like, where it dips down, isn't that kind of like what the look would be, or am I would it be the opposite way?
No, that would
Like,
kind of.
down by like where coal camp is, like that's not considered a look.
No, like if you go back over to the reflectivity, that's kind of back another cell there. So with that, what you've got is if you go back over to the velocity,
You want to get fully in front of this, or do you want to wait?
yeah, let's just fully get in front
All
of
right,
it.
sounds good.
So here where you separate this is all the wind surging out. So the stronger winds are probably back in this Stover area here. And then, so these are the winds away from the radar. This is a lot of convergence along like the gust front shelf cloud. And then kind of where it wraps back in, like in here and maybe even back in here is where you can get some of the quick spin ups. This is kind of a separate cell back here behind this line where some stronger winds are like convergence. So this is all convergence because you got winds coming in from the east southeast and winds in the rain coming out of the west. So that's a lot of convergence through there. Then you kind of got some broad rotation right in there. This is kind of the area we're lining up for that's going to move up to Tipton, and then this kind of bends back to the southwest, and then this other storm back here, and there is why you've got some of those other stronger velocities showing up, because you kind of got this other line back in that area. But there's not really a hook on there. There's these little inflow appendages. Like, you kind of see how in the precipitation, like it's kind of bends back here and surges down here. So where you get these little kind of notches on this line is where you can kind of get some of those quick spin ups, or what they call QLCS type tornadoes that, you know, aren't really nice and photogenic like the super cell tornadoes that we're hoping to get later in the week. But you still can get some quick spin ups, and it's always fun to get 60, 70 mile per hour winds too. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a quick hitter. I mean, it's going to be in and out in, you know, a few minutes. It's not going to last long, but we'll see what kind of wind we can get with it. The latest warning took the hail threat back down below severe criteria. Quarter-sized hail is 1 inch hail. Earlier it was warned for 1 inch hail, but now it's saying the hail is less than 1 inch. So it'll mainly be wind, and maybe we'll get some rotation on the leading edge. Definitely a lot of like eddies in the clouds and boiling, and if we get lucky, we may get like a quick spin up out of it.
I was looking on map.
By spin up, you mean like a non-super cell tornado?
Well, they're still kind of associated with the rotation, but yeah, you don't have the real strong meso above them, so yeah, they kind of occur on a smaller scale than. They just put one, so there you go.
Well,
Tornado warning.
I was wondering if they were going
Take
to do that.
shelter in a basement.
Yeah, we got a tornado warning. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, you're good. I'm just starting to look for places to pull off.
Oh, okay.
You think we're at a good?
From here,
Go a little further.
let's see. Probably, yeah. Let me
Move
move
to the
this again real
closest
quick.
substantial
If
shelter.
it's moving further.
How about this?
Yeah, let's.
How about this right here?
For here.
Yeah.
We can do this for now.
Yeah, and then I'll turn it around so that we can.
And then we'll line it up.
Pull
as
right
it's
out
good. Yeah, it looks
if we
like it's
want.
coming right up this way.
Yeah,
Now that
that's the
we're
thing. I
looking.
didn't want to over pursue and then have to.
Yeah. So you can see how this couplet's tightened up now on the latest scan, and it's just down to our south. So we're gonna turn around and face the van.
That's
I may
an
still,
interesting polygon. Oh, it's coming right here. Look at that.
still,
Look at
yeah.
the next scan.
So it'll be in here pretty quick.
Where are we?
We are west of Tipton and east of Syracuse.
That's
So
an interesting polygon.
we were turning around and facing
Yeah, do
south.
you see anything?
No, not yet. I think sometimes they issue them real quick and draw the polygon a little bit outside. I've
Yeah.
seen them do that before, where they draw the polygon a little bit outside the area, but
Yeah.
Yeah, so with this being linear, it's not going to be as clear and photogenic as like the other stuff. Some of this rotation may be back in the rain, but we're going to kind of wait here until this couplet gets a little closer. It may pivot and kind of pass to our west.
I'm gonna turn this just a little further.
But we're going to stage here, and we've got a nice east-west highway that if we need to bail up the last second, we can, and kind of get out of the path. But right now we're pretty close to the path of this rotation. There's nothing confirmed with west.